Crony capitalism in the Philippines has perpetuated economic inequality, stunted growth, and created a business environment where political connections often outweigh merit or innovation. By favoring politically connected conglomerates and elites, the government inadvertently stifled competition, discouraged investment, and deprived ordinary Filipinos of affordable services and meaningful economic opportunities. While some reforms have aimed to curb these issues, the legacy of cronyism still lingers, presenting a challenge for the Philippines in fostering a more equitable and competitive economic environment. This explainer video gives you an in-depth look at how crony capitalism affected the Philippines, complete with examples that illustrate these dynamics. 1. Historical elite dominance and land ownership. The roots of crony capitalism in the Philippines can be traced back to the colonial era, where Spanish colonialism fostered a system of haciendas, large estates, concentrating land ownership among a few powerful families. This landowning elite maintained control well into the 20th century, creating a system where wealth and economic power were inherently tied to family lineage rather than merit or competition. The agrarian reform programs, aimed at redistributing land to tenants, were often ineffective, as elites used legal loopholes and political influence to retain their holdings. Example: Cojuangco family and Hacienda Luisita. The Cojuangco family, one of the most influential families in the Philippines, owned Hacienda Luisita, a large sugar plantation. The land was supposed to be distributed to farmers as part of agrarian reform, but political influence allowed the family to retain control over it. This led to labor struggles, poverty, and lack of economic mobility for farm workers. The issue remains contentious today and exemplifies how powerful elites maintain control over resources to the detriment of the majority. 2. Corruption and patronage politics. Philippine politics has long been intertwined with patronage, where politicians exchange favors with wealthy businessmen or landowners for political support. This creates a system where government resources are diverted away from public needs and into the pockets of political allies. Crony capitalists benefit from favorable laws, tax breaks, and government contracts, often with minimal oversight or accountability. This results in economic inefficiencies and stymies progress by stifling fair competition. Example: the Marcos regime and the rise of cronyism. During Ferdinand Marcos's presidency, 1965 to 1986, crony capitalism reached unprecedented levels. Marcos and his associates exploited the country's resources, using government positions to amass vast personal fortunes. Several industries, including logging, construction, and media, were handed over to Marcos's friends and allies. For instance, Benigno Tota of Philippine Airlines gained exclusive control over the airline industry, limiting competition and entrenching inefficiencies. Danding Cojuangco, a Marcos associate, was given control of San Miguel Corporation, a major conglomerate, and was accused of siphoning funds through a coconut levy imposed on farmers, benefiting only a few while leaving coconut farmers impoverished. These crony-driven monopolies contributed to poor service quality, high prices, and limited public access to vital resources, leading to long-term damage to the Philippine economy. 3. Monopolies and market domination by conglomerates. In the Philippines, a few powerful families control key industries, such as telecommunications, water, and power. Because these conglomerates hold significant political sway, regulations are often written to protect them, leading to monopolistic control. This concentration limits consumer choice, keeps prices high, and hinders innovation and efficiency. Example: water utilities and Manila Water. In the late 1990s, water services in Manila were privatized and split between two companies, Manila Water and Maynilad, both linked to influential families and groups. Due to limited competition and regulatory leniency, the companies were able to increase water tariffs multiple times, resulting in steep prices and sporadic water shortages. While privatization initially brought improvements, it also led to situations where consumers paid excessively, while monopolistic control allowed the companies to avoid necessary infrastructure investments. These issues peaked in the 2019 water crisis, demonstrating the fragility of privatized, monopolized services. 4. Natural resource exploitation and environmental degradation. Crony capitalism in the Philippines has often led to the unsustainable exploitation of natural resources. Logging, mining, and fishing rights have frequently been given to individuals or companies with political connections, leading to environmental degradation and minimal economic benefit for the local population. Example: destructive mining in Mindanao. In Mindanao, mining concessions were often granted to companies linked to politicians and influential business figures. This resulted in widespread environmental degradation, including deforestation, water pollution, and displacement of indigenous communities. While these mining companies profited immensely, local communities experienced loss of livelihoods and deteriorated health due to pollution. The Marcopper mining disaster in Marinduque in 1996 is an infamous case where a mining company linked to cronies left toxic waste in rivers and bays, devastating local communities and ecosystems. 5. Poor social services and infrastructure due to diverted funds. The diversion of funds and resources to serve political and business interests has weakened social services, especially in education, healthcare, and infrastructure. When public money is channeled to politically connected companies or used for unnecessary projects, fewer funds remain for initiatives that benefit the population. Example: MRT and LRT public transportation. Manila's MRT, Metro Rail Transit, and LRT, Light Rail Transit, systems, built and expanded through public-private partnerships, have become notorious for breakdowns, delays, and inefficiency due to lack of maintenance and poor planning. Several companies involved in construction and maintenance had ties to powerful families and enjoyed government contracts with minimal accountability. As a result, the rail systems remain underfunded, with Filipino commuters suffering daily. Political favoritism and corruption delayed necessary improvements and expansions, affecting millions of daily commuters and economic productivity. 6. Deterring foreign investment due to cronyism. Crony capitalism can discourage foreign investment as international companies may be unwilling to compete in a market where local players are heavily favored through political connections. This has had long-term implications for the Philippine economy, limiting job creation and slowing economic growth. Example: the telecommunications duopoly. For years, PLDT, Philippine Long-Distance Telephone Company, and Globe Telecom dominated the telecommunications industry, both benefiting from favorable policies and little competition. Foreign firms seeking to enter the Philippine telecom market often faced restrictive regulations and intense lobbying by these giants, discouraging entry. The lack of competition led to substandard internet and mobile services and some of the highest prices in the region. Only recently has the government made efforts to introduce a third telecom player to increase competition, signaling the slow pace of change due to entrenched interests. If you like this video, please encourage our team by clicking like button and subscribe our channel. This will motivate us to make more such videos.